There comes a day in every person's life when the illusion breaks, not because people suddenly change, but because you finally see them. The friend you thought was loyal, the lover you believed would save you, the mentor you imagined had all the answers. One day, the mask slips, and what terrifies you is not who they are, it's realizing that the fantasy was yours. Carl Jung believed that one of the greatest psychological traps is projection, the unconscious act of placing parts of ourselves onto other people. We don't see them as they truly are. We see our dreams, wounds, hopes, and desires reflected back at us. And the day you stop romanticizing people is the day you begin waking up. But awakening is not beautiful. At first, it feels like loss. Human beings have always created gods, not only in religion, in relationships, in friendships, in politics, in celebrities, in strangers. We meet someone and begin writing a story about them. We imagine they are wiser than us, stronger than us, kinder than us. We fill the empty spaces in their personality with our own fantasies. Jung observed that what fascinates us most in others often comes from something hidden within ourselves. The qualities we worship are frequently our own unrealized potential. The qualities we fear are often our own rejected shadow. Yet instead of facing ourselves, we place these qualities onto someone else. We turn ordinary people into myths. And then we suffer when reality arrives. Because reality always arrives. Most people think they fall in love with a person. Often, they fall in love with an image, a psychological movie playing inside their own mind. This is why someone can ignore obvious warning signs, why they defend toxic behavior, why they stay loyal to people who continuously hurt them. They are not protecting the person, they are protecting the fantasy. The fantasy feels safer than the truth. The truth demands responsibility. The fantasy allows escape. Jung called this projection, and projection is seductive because it prevents us from looking inward. Instead of developing our own strength, we search for a strong person. Instead of finding peace within ourselves, we search for someone who appears peaceful. Instead of becoming whole, we search for someone we believe will complete us. But no human being can carry the weight of another person's unfinished soul. Eventually, they collapse beneath it. Then comes the moment, the text message that reveals their true intentions, the betrayal, the lie, the disappointment, the realization that the person you admired is deeply flawed. At first, anger appears. You feel deceived, used, tricked. But Jung would ask a difficult question. Were you deceived, or were you projecting? Because often the person never claimed to be extraordinary. You made them extraordinary. You built the pedestal. You wrote the story. You painted the halo around their head. And now that reality has arrived, the fantasy dies. This death feels personal, because it is. A part of your identity was attached to the illusion. Why do some people constantly romanticize others? According to Jungian psychology, the answer often lies in the shadow. The shadow contains everything we refuse to acknowledge about ourselves: our power, our anger, our confidence, our creativity, our darkness. When these qualities remain unconscious, they don't disappear. They seek expression, and often they appear in the form of another person. You meet someone charismatic. Suddenly they seem magical. You meet someone confident. They seem larger than life. You meet someone mysterious. You become obsessed. But what if what you're seeing isn't them? What if you're seeing pieces of yourself that you've abandoned? The more disconnected you are from your own power, the more likely you are to worship it in others. The more disconnected you are from your own worth, the more likely you are to place someone else above you. And the higher the pedestal, the harder the fall. The day you stop romanticizing people feels dark. You begin noticing things you once ignored. You see insecurity beneath confidence, fear beneath arrogance, loneliness beneath popularity, weakness beneath authority. You realize that everyone is fighting invisible battles. Everyone carries contradictions. Everyone has shadows. The heroes are flawed. The villains are wounded. The wise are confused. The strong are afraid. And for a moment, the world seems less magical, less inspiring, less beautiful. But something deeper is happening. You are learning to see reality, and reality is where genuine connection begins. When you stop romanticizing people, a strange freedom emerges. You stop seeking saviors. You stop chasing approval. You stop waiting for someone to rescue you from your own life. Because you finally understand something Jung spent his entire career exploring. The person you've been searching for outside yourself has always existed within. The strength you admired, the wisdom you worshipped, the courage you envied, the creativity that fascinated you. These qualities were never truly theirs alone. They were reflections of possibilities living inside you. The projection dissolves, and what remains is responsibility, terrifying responsibility, liberating responsibility, the responsibility to become who you are. There is another side to this transformation: loneliness. Not because you lose people, but because you lose illusions. Many conversations begin feeling shallow. Many relationships reveal hidden imbalances. Many social games become obvious. You can no longer pretend not to see. And once you've seen clearly, you cannot return to blindness. This stage often feels cold, as if the world has lost its color. But Jung understood that psychological growth often begins with disillusionment. The word itself is revealing. Disillusionment, the removal of illusion, not the destruction of reality, the destruction of fantasy. And while fantasy dies, truth survives. Maturity begins when you stop asking, "How perfect is this person?" and start asking, "Who are they really?" Not who you want them to be, not who they pretend to be, not who others say they are. Who are they beneath the masks? Can you accept their flaws? Can you see their humanity? Can you recognize their shadow without turning them into a monster? Can you appreciate their strengths without turning them into a god? This is rare. Most people swing between worship and hatred, idealization and disappointment, love and resentment. Jung's path was different. See clearly. Neither worship nor condemn. Simply see. The day you stop romanticizing people is not the day the world becomes darker. It is the day the fog disappears. You stop creating gods. You stop chasing fantasies. You stop surrendering your power to strangers. And for the first time, you meet human beings as they truly are: flawed, complicated, beautiful, broken, just like you. Because the deepest lesson Jung offered was this: the person you place on a pedestal is often carrying a piece of your own soul. And when the pedestal finally collapses, that piece comes home. The illusion dies, the projection fades, and in the silence that follows, you begin the most important relationship of your life, the relationship with yourself. The day you stop romanticizing people is the day you stop living in a dream and start becoming whole.